American Woman. Guess who? Randy Bachman, Burton Cummings, 1970. This is on one hand, it's kind of a caveman song. On the other, it is just spectacular with the way it came together and all the little different parts in it. So these guys had been playing together for a couple of years and made about 2 albums as this group, Wheatfield Soul and Canned Wheat. Yeah, well, something like that, yeah. And 1970, they put this together after they kind of hit the big time with some of Randy's earlier tunes, These Eyes, Laughing, No Time, Undone. And they'd been touring the United States and been hitting the big places. Of course, this band out of Canada was a bit of culture shock back then, coming from the small towns in Canada and then hitting Chicago and New York and stuff. So the song was kind of written... it wasn't really meant to be detrimental to the United States or anything, I don't think. But at least it was a good to be back home kind of feeling. So there are just some great things in this song that we're going to look at in this lesson. The first thing is that the riff kind of came about just from them jamming, sitting up on the stage, getting ready for a set, and you could just see that this kind of thing could easily materialize with a group of musicians waiting for maybe the singer to arrive or something. And it just started turning into this very one-dimensional kind of jam. And I think Burton kind of came out then and just started making up lyrics, and the roots of the song were born. So pretty sure that this was born from a stage improvisation that the band was doing as opening a second set or something like that. Now, the little bluesy part that Randy Bachman plays in the beginning is really interesting because that's now kind of like standard American blues. This little power chord working its way up to a sixth, and this descending series of 3 notes done in with descending sevenths, a fairly typical blues type turnaround. And then he's got standard blues licks. And then the whole thing is done keeping a steady bass in there. So he's doing some finger picking here in a manner more in the style of country blues artists of the previous generation, from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And really interesting thing about this song is that I know when they played it live, they rarely, if ever, did the little acoustic intro. Now, this was obviously done on multiple guitars because the first one's acoustic and then the distorted electric guitar kicks in. But if you're in the right tuning, as you can see, you can play all of the parts pretty much the same way. So this is not a song that is best done in standard tuning or in any other standard open tuning like G or D or E or A or anything. So we're going to use a really unusual tuning. Not difficult to get into here, but just unusual because you don't see it too often. We're probably going to call it an E minor 7 tuning because that's really what it is. So all the notes are tuned to all the strings are tuned to one of the notes in an E minor 7 chord. So we will talk about that around the corner as we take a look at some of the licks that happen in here. But we're going to go over the acoustic part. We're going to go over the 3 or 4 different licks that happen in it. We're going to go over the caveman part. And we'll talk about that little opening lead. that happen too, that is a very distinctive part of the song. So all of that is in this lesson, just around the corner. The tuning for American Woman, E minor 7. What does that mean? Well, the notes in an E minor 7 chord are E, G, B, and D. Every string has to be tuned to either an E, a G, a B, or a D. It's really simple. It's almost like an open G tuning. We're going to retune 2 strings. We're going to bring the first string down a whole step to D, so that it matches the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Now, the other chords are fairly easy to play as well in this tuning, so I'm not even going to do a left-hand close-up on this, because all you need to do is take a look at the tablature and see that we're going to play a 3-string chord on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings, shaped like the top 3 strings of a normal E bar chord family, where you just have to have the descending, and when you get to that open chord, you're going to add this into it. Let's break this down a little bit more minutely, finely, and have 3 pages of tablature and a page of lyrics. So if you want to sing this song, there you go. You got the words. If you just want to work on the cool guitar parts, got 3 pages of stuff. And this is the one that says it's using the custom tuning. It doesn't say E minor 7 on there because I hadn't quite figured out how to do that yet. But not that it matters. So if we look at the first measure, it opens up with harmonics. Now again, in our E minor 7 tuning, if we only play the top 5 strings, we have a G chord. The top 5 strings in this tuning are exactly the same as they would be in an open G tuning. Let's talk about the electric parts now on my amplified acoustic guitar. So this is the 2nd page of tablature that it's actually at the bottom of the 2nd page where it says rhythm guitar, and then we'll talk about the lead in this section too. So you have plenty of time if you've been playing that first part with your fingers. You have all day to pick up your pick, depending on where it is. You could have it on your knee, you could have it in your mouth, or you could have it already in your fingers, and then you're ready to go right into the power chord riff. Now, the main thing that's going to happen here is the beats are going relatively slowly, so we're going to be doing downs at the speed of 8th notes. So it opens up with 2 8th notes on the 4th beat of the measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Then we get into 16th note. Well, let's take a slightly slowed down version of just the acoustic intro. Now, this is going to be a little strange because it kind of slows down at the end. We're going to do it without the slowdown. And we're not going to take all of the repeats. So you'll have to pay attention as I tell you which line we're going on to. So we'll start with those harmonics. I have the metronome set at 70, and then the first melody comes in, don't forget, on beat 2. So let's see if we can make this happen. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Next line. Repeat that. Then we're going to go on.